welcome to Power Flow. So this evening, we're going to start flat on our backs. Make sure that you have got 1 to 2 props handy. You'll possibly want to use them as we move through our flow this evening. And we're going to start flat on the back. Taking the soles of the feet together to touch in the longest butterfly pose that you can possibly create. So it's probably going to be so long that even your toes start to come apart at the bottom. So think about just bringing your heels together to touch and a nice long kind of gap between the pelvis. Now, if you are like me and you've got really tight glutes and you're looking for a little bit more sensation, you could place a block underneath the heels in order just to get a little bit more weight from the knees as we recline. And we'll just start to connect with the breath as we close the eyes and breathe in and out through the nose. Maybe licking your lips to swallow, and just checking in with the body, perhaps lifting and replacing yourself back down on your mat, checking in with any discomfort that you might find in the body. And looking to take some of the deepest breaths that you have taken all day, bringing yourself into this moment, so that you can be truly present to your practice and to all of the movement that comes with it. And allowing the knees to get really heavy here. Deepening your inhales, lengthening your exhales. You're going to take some time this evening to really explore into kind of the outer glutes, outer hip area. And all of this tension that we can accumulate kind of in the piriformis, the glute med, glute min, the areas that are really impacted by either a lot of sitting, and I think a lot of us have been doing excessive sitting, and either excessive sitting or excessive standing. And then perhaps really just the habits that we form around sitting and standing and the way that we support the body weight when we're standing. And all of this can lend to very, very tight glutes and hips. And oftentimes these glutes don't even know how to correctly fire. So they become weak and tight and pretty painful and uncomfortable. And so this evening, we're going to really just kind of get to know the sensations and see if we can start to release some of the tension that we tend to store in these muscles. And so just noticing any sensation that is available or apparent to you right now, just being aware. Always looking to increase our awareness as we approach our practice. It brings us into a lot more presence. And the ability to stay present is such a beautiful escape from the cascading thoughts about the future or the past. But just keeping us right here in this one moment where we can really ground into something solid, something tangible. Allow the knees to get a little bit heavier, and we'll find just a few more breaths here. Really checking in with the depth of your breath this evening. Are you able to breathe deeply into your belly? And we'll take just a few rounds of 3-part breath as we hold this posture for the last few moments. Now, 3-part breath is in your practice. Feel free to resume right away. And the idea of 3-part breath is part 1. We breathe in through the nose and inflate the belly. Fill up the low belly. And with the exhale, we draw the navel to the spine, really allowing a more kind of forced or strong exhale. And then part 2, as we breathe in through the nose, we'll lift the belly. And then breathe a little deeper to expand the ribs. Feel the ribs expand. And then as you exhale, the ribs come in first, and then the belly lowers. So the belly is the first to rise, the last to fall. Part 3, as we inhale, belly rises, ribs expand, and heart lifts. Breathe just a little deeper. So filling up your entire torso, and then on the exhale, heart falls, ribs come in, and belly falls. Taking just a few more breaths like this. As you inhale, belly rises, ribs expand, heart lifts. As you exhale, heart falls, ribs contract, belly lowers. And so there is that ultimate concentration and presence in order to keep the belly rising first and falling last. A little bit of musculature even to hold the breath in the belly. And maybe by now starting to sense some feedback from the glutes. And that will depend on how tight the groin and hamstrings are. We'll find a nice deep breath in. Exhale, heart lowers, ribs contract, belly falls. And then release your 3-part breath. And begin to draw the knees in towards the belly for a nice big hug, maybe taking your block off to the side. I'm just noticing here what it feels like to rock side to side. We'll begin to take the right knee in towards the chest, extend that left leg nice and long, and then take your right shin into your left hand, extend your right arm to the side, and begin to pull your right knee over to the left side. You might land the right foot on top of the left thigh. Just looking for a nice long stretch sensation along the outside of those hips, starting to invite a little bit of space into these areas before we ask them to fire. And so breathe deeply and imagine that your breath is helping to facilitate a little bit of a deeper stretch. When we have the muscles stretched over or elongated and then we take a breath in, that breath in tends to find a little bit more of a stretch for us. It tends to bring the peak of the sensation to the forefront. So find a few breaths here. Just be aware of what you're feeling. Deepening the inhale, lengthening the exhale. Last big breath in. And as we exhale, unwind from your twist, draw the left knee in and extend the right. Left hand, or left shin rather, to right hand, left hand out to the side, and begin to draw left knee over to the right. Again, maybe placing the sole of the foot on top of the right thigh, and then breathing deeply here. Noticing if you can feel any sensory difference between one side to the other. Notice where there might be some imbalances. Deepening your breath in and lengthening your breath out. Being aware of every little sensation that arises. And when you're finished your exhale, let's unwind the legs. Bring them both into the body for a nice big hug. And we'll begin to rock and roll all the way up to seated. Now, from here, we're going to take our hands just behind us, about 1 full hand length away from the hips. Walk your left foot a little longer than your right, so we can bend into the right knee, flex through the right ankle, and cross right ankle on top of left knee, or just kind of below it. And then we'll bring left foot a little bit closer and see if we can lift and lengthen the heart, flexing through the right ankle and pressing that right knee away from the body. But notice what happens, try for yourself, when you allow your posture to dissipate. Then we tend to lose the sensation. So make sure that you're pressing into your hands, lifting your heart towards your legs. And it might even make sense just to explore your sensation a little bit further. What does it feel like to kind of sway left to right? Perhaps finding a place where there is kind of like that bittersweet spot, and then lingering there for a few breaths just to offer a little bit more space and opening, bringing these glutes to life. Now, anytime, now we can start to activate our ujjayi breath as we start to work towards more of the active, strong part of our practice. Your ujjayi breath is that audible exhale through your nose as if you were trying to fog up a pane of glass, but with your mouth closed. Now, when you're ready from here, we're going to press into the hands and press into the left foot. Begin to lift the hips high. Reverse tabletop, just looking for a really heavy right knee. Notice what this feels like as you press into both hands, lifting up and away from the mat. Big breath in and exhale to lower. Now let's find just 4 more rounds of this lift and lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. And go ahead and walk that left leg a little long, uncross the legs. Keep the right heel long. And then lift that left leg, flex at the ankle and cross left knee just above, or left ankle just above right knee. And then when you're ready, bringing right heel a little bit closer. And then again, finding that nice, strong, tall posture where you're starting to press that left knee away from the body, lifting the heart and offering it towards the legs, nice, tall spine. Again, maybe just exploring the sensation by dropping right knee from left to right, looking for that bittersweet place where we can hold for a few breaths. And just noticing the difference from one side to the next. It's remarkable how imbalanced the body can become, just through repetitive movements usually, or injuries and things like this. Now find a nice deep breath in. Begin to drive that right knee back upwards. And when you're ready, press into the hands and the right foot, lifting the hips. And let's just hold this first one for a little bit, looking to lift up and away from the mat in our reverse tabletop. Left knee to the side, left ankle stays flexed. Notice the sensation. And very, very slowly with your exhale, lower the hips down. We're just going to tap the glutes down on the mat and inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. And exhale, come all the way down, unwinding that left leg. Now from here, we're going to meet on all fours in tabletop position. We're going to look to really extend a little bit into the hips so that we can begin to cultivate some strength, begin to wake up those muscles. So first, on our inhale, we want to move into kind of a neutral tabletop position where the shoulders are stacked underneath the wrists are stacked underneath the shoulders. Sorry, it's Monday. And making sure that we're not kind of sinking into the shoulders. We want to be powerful and strong. So we're using our muscles to press the floor away. So all of the upper spine and the back is engaged. Knees are directly underneath the hips. And then on an inhale, lift your right knee out to the side. Now make sure you don't lift your right hip. We're just lifting the knee. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, and hold here for 5, for 4, for 3, 2. And on 1, extend your right leg back. And then we're going to take the right toes as far left as we can take them. And then begin to look over your left shoulder. So starting to really kind of curve the body around. Your hips are going to come right as you look to the left. Big breath in. And exhale, look forward, return your right knee. All right, when you're ready, inhale, left knee lifts. Again, make sure you're not lifting your hips. Keep your hips stable. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and hold for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend that left leg back and then as far to the right as we can, gazing over the right shoulder. Breathing in and out through the nose. Big breath in. And exhale, left knee returns gaze forward. Now tuck the toes, sit back towards the heels, extend the arms long, and then from here, let's find our very first downward facing dog shape. Pressing into widespread hands, and really pressing the weight of the body back towards the feet. So you can bend your knees as much as you need to in your downward facing dog, whether it's the first one of the day, or this is just the limited range of motion that we have in the backs of the legs. Keep the weight moving back towards the feet. Finding your breath and taking as much or as little movement as you need here, just to invite a little bit of length into the backs of the legs. Noticing how the body is feeling in this downward dog. Maybe it's the first one of the day, first one in a while. So just checking in. Breathing in and out through the nose. And allow the hips to just sway side to side. Now, with your next breath in, look forward and begin to walk the feet to meet the hands at the very top of the mat. Folding belly to thighs. Inhale, hands to shin, straight spine. And exhale to fold. Inhale, arms rise all the way up. Lift your gaze to follow your fingers. And exhale, hands to heart center. Release the palms. Move through some sun salutations to get the hips warm. So inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to down for this first one if you like. Exhale, elbows to the ribs as we lower all the way to the belly, untucking the toes, engaging the tops of the feet, pressing into palms under shoulders, lifting the heart, cobra. Shoulders up, back, and down, heart lifts forward. Exhale to lower palms beside ribs, tuck the toes, send the hips back. Downward facing dog. Connecting with your breath, in and out through the nose. Ujjayi breath is now a prominent part of your practice. Looking forward and softening your knees, we'll step or hop to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold belly to thighs. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release the palms. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, halfway, straight spine. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Breathing in, you'll lower the knees all the way down or keep them lifted for Chaturanga Dandasana. As you exhale, elbows bend back towards the ribs. Lower all the way or halfway, lifting the heart into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back, downward dog. Connect to your breath. And on your next inhale, I want you to sweep your right leg up towards the sky. Lower your right hip in line with your left hip. And then we'll breathe in, bend into the left knee, or the right knee rather, draw it forwards, and step hop, or help the right foot in between the hands. Keep your back heel lifted, press into the front foot, inhale, arms rise. Now I want you to feel how this muscle starts to fire as we stabilize the weight of the body. There's a little bit of balance involved here. So in order to continue turning on this muscle, let's find a little bit of a flow. Arms are up overhead, back leg is straight, breathe in. As you exhale, I want you to plant your fingers on the ground. Inhale, arms rise. It's that lifting motion where we really turn on the hips. Exhale, fold fingertips to the ground. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold. So runner's lunge to crescent lunge. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, runner's lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, runner's lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Now hold here. Bend deeply into your front knee. Drive your back heel back. Slide your right hip back, your left hip forward, and really feel that right glute fire here. Draw your ribs in, so you're not lifting your ribs and back bending here, but we want the ribs pulled into the cores engaged. And you'll notice my reach comes towards where the wall meets the ceiling. Inhale fully. And exhale, plant the hands down, step back to plank. Big breath in. And exhale to flow. Elbows draw inwards as you lower. Inhale, cobra or upward. Exhale, downward dog. Reconnect to your breath. Check in with the sensation of the right glutes. When you're ready, left leg rises. Keep your left hip in line with right hip. Exhale, left knee pulls into the belly, round the spine. Step or hop left foot between the hands. So again, we're going to find this transition. Runner's lunge. Inhale, arms rise, crescent lunge. So let's get the alignment correct. Ribs draw in. Back leg is as straight and as strong and as engaged as we can make it. Front knee is as bent as we can make it. Back heel drives back. We want to kind of keep this stance. We don't want to be lowering and lifting and lowering and lifting. So let's see how stable we can stay. Exhale, fingertips come down, low runner's lunge. Keep your bend consistent. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, 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 rise. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rise and hold here. Sinking low, sliding left hip back, pulling ribs in, core is engaged, and glute is firing. Big breath in. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Inhale, and exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Connecting back to your ujjayi breath, those audible exhales. And checking in with the body. What is the sensation like here? Now, when you're ready, looking forward, inhaling, softening the knees and stepping or hopping to the top of the mat, forward fold. Hands to shins, lift halfway, breathe in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise. Lift your gaze to follow your fingers. And exhale, hands to heart center. Release the palms. Let's build on this just a little bit. Inhale, arms rise. Lift your gaze. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step or hop back. Plank pose. Inhale. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lifting the heart, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Right away, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, knee to the belly. Inhale, step the foot forward. Exhale, sink into that right knee. Inhale, arms rise. Hold here. Now slide your right hip back, left hip forward. Let's take a little bit of a twist. So on the exhale, left arm is going to come forward, right arm is going to come behind us. And this is really going to force us to find a little bit more of that rotation to turn on that right glute. Can you sink into the right knee? Find your breath. In and out through the nose. Now from here, we're going to tap the left fingertips down. Exhale. So finding a twist. And then inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise. Ooh. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise. Feel that hip stabilizing. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise.
exhale, twist, hold here. And from here, I want you to take your right toes and turn them as far right as you can. You might even be able to come onto the outer edge of your back foot. And in doing so, you'll start to feel a little bit of relief for this poor right glute. Right arm rises. Now, let's find a little bit of movement here to encourage a little bit more blood flow and circulation to this glute. As we inhale, lift the hips and reach the right arm forward. As we exhale, lower the hips, reach the right arm back. Inhale, lift the hips, reach forward. Exhale, lower the hips, reach back, as low as you can get that left hip. Inhale, lift and reach forward. Exhale, lower, reach back. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, lower, and let's hold here for 3, for 2, for 1. Look forward, plant the right hand, turn the right toes forward, step back, plank pose, breathe in. Exhale, flow through vinyasa, elbows to the ribs. Lifting the heart on the inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right away, left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, knee to the belly, round the spine, step the foot between the hands, low runner's lunge. Inhale, arms rise. So again, looking for the left hip to really draw in, right hip forward. The hips want to be square with one another. Back leg is straight and strong. And as we exhale, let's split the arms. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches backwards. Slow and steady. Sink into that left knee. And again, all we're going to do is tilt. Exhale, right fingertips to the mat, left hand to the sky. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twist. Inhale, rise. And exhale, twist. Let's hold here. Right hand to the mat or a block. And then left toes turn as far left as possible. Back heel might even be able to rotate onto the outer edge of the back foot. Left arm rises. Then let's find that movement again. So as we inhale, lift your hips as high as you can, reach left arm forward. Exhale, lower right limb as low as you can, reach left arm back. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and reach. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and reach. And exhale, lower. Hold here for 3, for 2, for 1. Look forward, turn the toes forward, and step back. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Reconnecting to your breath. Widespread hands, pressing down into the thumb and the index fingers. In and out through the nose. Deepening your breath in and lengthening your breath out. When you're ready, looking forward, softening your knees and stepping or hopping to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release the palms. When you're ready, on your next breath in, bend into your knees, sink your hips low, sweep your fingertips forward. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Now let's sink a little lower, and let's hold here for a moment. Breathing in and out through the nose. Now we don't want a flat back, we want to have like a natural spine here, so we can really reach the arms forward, sink the hips back, and send the weight into the heels. Looking down at the toes, you might even lift them up, spread them wide, and see if you can place them down one at a time. Noticing how the hips are starting to fatigue. And on the exhale, fold forward. Belly to thighs. Inhale, lift halfway, straight spine. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back to plank. Inhale here, and exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Now from here, we're going to step the right foot forward, not quite in between the hands, maybe about a hand length behind the hands. So we've got a much more narrow stance. If we bend into the front knee, hopefully the back heel lands down. From here, we're going to transition into warrior three. Now, I really want you to focus on activating this right glute in order to stabilize and transition. So let's walk the hands up to heart center from here. Finding ourselves in this pyramid shape, sliding right hip back, left hip forward. So you're going to soften your right knee enough that we can lift the back heel and propel the body forward, okay? So lifting your left heel, shifting onto the right. See here, if you tuck the tail, you get a little bit more strength from that right glute. Begin to take weight onto the right leg, lift the left. Now as you exhale, soften right knee, tap left toes down. Find yourself in pyramid. Inhale, lift your back heel, find warrior three. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, warrior three. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, warrior three. Now this exhale into pyramid, I want you to fold over that front leg. And this is where a block might come in handy to the inside of your right foot. Left hand plants down, right hip slides back, right arm rises. So really breathing into that lengthening sensation that we're creating for that front right glute. That did such a good job at staying strong for warrior three. Find your breath in and out through the nose. And just enjoy this nice long stretch. Now from here, exhale to fold. Release that block off to the side. And we're gonna walk the hands forward, lifting the back heel and stepping back downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, come forward to plank. Exhale, flow through vinyasa, elbows to the rib. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So same thing on the other side, stepping that left foot forward, but not right between the hands. So making sure that with a soft left knee that you can lower your right heel to the ground. Folding over that left leg. Now when you're ready, we'll soften into the left knee and bring the hands together at the heart. So remember that your spine plays a really important role to turning on the glutes. So when we tuck the tail right away, peeling the belly button away from the left leg. When you're ready, inhale, lift your right heel, shift your weight forward, lift the right leg. Exhale, soften left knee, step right toes or right foot back. Pyramid. Inhale, warrior three. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, warrior three. Keep your spine and your upper body pretty fixed. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, warrior three. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, warrior three. Exhale, pyramid. And this one, let's fold forward. Again, maybe taking a block underneath the right hand on the inside of the left leg. Left hip slides back. Left arm reaches to the sky. In and out through the nose. I'm just loving that beautiful lengthening sensation for that left glute. Breathing in and out through the nose. Just a few more breaths. And with your exhale, planting hands down, Softening into left knee, block to the side, step back, downward facing dog. And then inhale, lift the heels, round the spine as we come forward to plank. Exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Reconnecting to that ujjayi breath. Slowing down the exhales. And just checking in with how the hips are feeling, how the glutes are feeling, what the energy of the body is like now. When you're ready, softening into the knees, looking forward, stepping or hopping to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, straight spine. Exhale, fold. Let's find that chair pose once again. As you inhale, bend into your knees, sink your hips low, sweep your fingertips forward. Hips come as far back as they can. Glutes are firing. Big breath in. As you exhale, hands to heart center, stand tall. Release the palms. Now from here, let's have a block handy, just in case the arms are feeling a little short today. Bring hands to heart center. Inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, you're going to begin to hinge at the hips, tilt forward, releasing right leg back. Let's find warrior three. This is just a transition. From warrior three, we're going to bring the left hand towards the block or the mat, right hand towards the hips. Flex into your right ankle and begin to peel your right hip up. Okay, so finding half moon. Now you might keep right hand on the hips, or you might reach right hand to the sky. We're not going to stay here long. We're going to transition. So big breath here. And as you exhale, let's begin to take right hand to the block. Now you can keep left hand here, or you can reach left hand out to the side, or find a twist, left hand to the sky. Keep that flex through the right ankle. Big breath in. Exhale, left hand lands down. Inhale, right arm, right hip lift. Find your breath. Big breath in. Exhale, let's take right hand to the block, left hand to the hip, to the side, to the sky, your choice. Big breath in. Let's find one more transition. Left hand comes to the block on the exhale or the mat. Right hand rises to the sky. Opening up that right hip. Inhale fully. And then exhale. Right hand to the ground or the block. Left hand to the hip, side or sky. Big breath in here. And as we exhale, let's land that left hand down, bend into the left knee, tap the right toes back, low runner's lunge. Plant the palms, and right from here, we're gonna find pigeon pose. So taking your left knee towards your left hip, left wrist. It's Monday. So let your hips be heavy, and really the block is a great tool to use if the left hip does not come all the way to the mat. Now, even if pigeon pose is fairly comfortable for you, you might use the block to increase your range of motion. Using the block to lift the hips away from the mat allows you to perhaps take the heel a little further away. Now, wherever you find yourself, left hip grounded on something. We're going to walk the left arm forward. Right arm, we're going to start to walk towards the left side. Maybe coming down onto right forearm, right tricep, or right shoulder. As we move into a bit of a twisted pigeon here. Breathe in and out through your nose. Deepening your inhales and lengthening your exhales. And seeing if you can just surrender to the formidable discomfort that is pigeon pose. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to achieve or accomplish aside from resting in stillness, connecting to the breath. Notice how the mind tries to trick the body into cheating. And so instead, come back to your breath and surrender. You can readjust so that you're not in pain. We never want to be in pain, but if it's discomfort, surrender. Just a few more breaths here. In and out through the nose. And then very, very slowly, starting to rise all the way up. Now, I want you to keep your front leg the way that it is. Take all of your weight into your left hand and help to pull that right leg forward. And we're just going to step the right foot on the other side of the left knee. From here, let's take the left arm and wrap it around that right leg, pulling that right leg nice and close to the body with the right hand behind us. And the idea here specifically, if you're used to the variation of this posture where you have the elbow on the outside of the knee, you can find that variation. I like to hold it close when I'm working with releasing the glutes, just because it allows you to bring the leg a little closer. Right hand behind you, look forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And as you exhale, begin to look over your right shoulder, really pulling that right knee towards you as you do. Breathe into that sensation. In and out through the nose. Deepening your inhales and lengthening your exhales. Just notice what exactly it is that you're feeling and where. Nice, big breath in. And exhale slowly. Now, as you're ready, begin to look forward. We're going to release this right leg. Let's see what our mobility is like. So, press into your left shin. Lift your right leg. Can we swing it all the way back to where it came from in that pigeon pose, tucking the toes, planting the hands, and stepping back downward facing dog. Breathe in and out through the nose. And when you're ready, inhale to look forward, soften your knees and step or hop to the top. When you're ready, sweep the arms to the sky, inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then let's try this on the other side. So lifting and spreading the right toes, softening into the right knee. And as you exhale, folding forward, left leg extends back. So same thing on the other side. Warrior 3 takes us there. Now, we're going to take the right hand down to the mat or to the block. Left hand to the left hip. Flexing through the left ankle, very slowly start to lift left hip towards the sky. So you're opening the hips. Maybe left hand rises. And you can always keep your hands to the hips. Find your breath. In and out through the nose. This is where 2 blocks come in handy because the positioning for the right hand for half moon is going to be probably in front of the right foot or to the right of the right foot. Now, as we transition, look down. You want to place your left hand probably to the inside of that right foot. Right hand to the hips. Right hand to the side. Or right hand to the sky. For revolved half moon. Breathing in and out through the nose. Big breath in. Exhale, switch. Place the right hand down. Left hand to the left hip, lifting left hip to the sky. Maybe left hand falls. Half moon. With your next exhale, landing your left hand down. Right hand to the hip. You're lowering left hip in line with right hip. Right hand to the side or to the sky. Find your breath. Exhale, let's switch last time, planting the right hand down, left hand to the hip, left arm to the sky. Open the hips, half moon. And with your exhale, look down, place the left hand, left hip in line with right hip, right hand to the right hip, to the side, or to the sky. Big breath in. As you exhale, look down, soften into your right knee, step your left toes long behind you, press into your hand, spine pigeon, right knee to right wrist. So again, what we are looking for is the right hip grounded onto the block or onto the mat. If there's a considerable amount of distance, that's where we want to bring a full blanket or a block right underneath the hip line. Now again, we can use the block or blanket to find a deeper variation, one where we might be moving the heel further away from the hip line. Walk the right hand slightly forward. Begin to take the left forearm down. You might stop here, reaching right arm long and folding. You might come all the way down onto the left shoulder or tricep. And then just breathe here as you settle into this delightful discomfort. Really breathing into some of that tension that you might be encountering in the hips or glutes. Deepening your inhales and lengthening your exhales. Notice what you're feeling on this side in comparison to the other side. Just a few more breaths here. Your breath moving deeply, don't shallow. Keep your mind here. And keep relaxing all the muscles that we are trying to release. When you are ready, you start to unwind. And again, we're going to place the right hand, look over the left shoulder, and see if we can drag left leg forward, stepping the sole of the left foot to the outside of the right knee. And then from here, again, we're going to pull, use the right arm to pull left leg nice and close to the body, left fingertips tap down behind you. Lift and lengthen your spine on your inhale, and as you exhale, pull that left leg close as you look over the left shoulder. Breathing deeply into your twist. And really just scanning the body to notice what exactly it is that you're feeling. Just a few more breaths. Deepening the inhales and slowing down the exhales. And very, very slowly starting to look forward. Now from here again, we'll see if we can take our weight onto our right leg. Step that left toes back behind us for pigeon pose. Place the hands down and step back, downward facing dog. If you would like to flow through one more vinyasa here, please feel free to do so. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Finding one last posture before we come back down to the ground. From your downward facing dog, look forward, inhale, soften the knees and step hop or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway, exhale to fold. Inhale, arms rise. And exhale, hands to heart center. From here, let's lift and spread the left toes, bending into the right knee and lifting the right foot. So we want to flex into that right ankle and cross right ankle just above left knee, taking right knee out to the side. Now, if balance is tricky for you today, I encourage you to use the wall or two blocks as we begin to bend into the left knee. The more that the hips sink low, the more that the flex in the right foot is important. So starting to lower those hips any amount. This is actually called one leg chair pose, Ekapada Utkatasana. And that's the same idea. We want to send those hips back. Now you might even begin to fold forward. That's going to increase the sensation. You might wrap your arms around that right leg. Or bring your hands towards the mat. And there is an arm balance here. If it's in your practice, please feel free to be a flying pigeon. Otherwise, we might even just work on bending deeply in towards that left knee in order to find the maximum sensation for that right glute. Deepening your breath in and lengthening your breath out. And very, very slowly, if you're folded, hands to shins, hands to heart, rise all the way up. Now let's just land the right toes to the outside of the right or the left foot. Place the sole down so that we're crossing at the ankles. Inhale, sweep arms to the sky. Take left hand to right wrist, and then exhale. Reach everything over to the left side. Hips to the right, arms to the left. Big breath in, rise tall. And as we exhale, let's fold forward here. Now you can bend your knees as much as you need to. Folding into that twist for the legs. And very, very slowly rising all the way back up, uncrossing the legs. Lifting and spreading through the left toes, softening through the left knee, hands to heart center, lifting the left knee, flexing the left ankle, and crossing left ankle just above right knee. Finding your breath. And as we exhale, send the hips back, bending into the right knee as much or as little as feels necessary. And you'll know, your glutes will tell you. Now again, if we bring the upper body closer to that bent left leg, we start to increase the sensation. So you might just wrap your arms around the lower left leg. Perhaps even hands come towards the mat. Maybe an arm balance. Maybe just sinking nice and deeply into that right knee. And really looking for beautiful lengthening sensation. Keep flexing firmly through that left ankle. And again, if your hands are towards the floor, bring them up towards the shins, heart center, and rise all the way up, taking your left toes to the outside of your right foot, and then lowering the foot all the way down so the ankles are crossed. Inhale, arms rise. Left wrist into right fingertips. Shift the hips to the right and pull the arms towards, or the hips to the left, arms to the right. On your next breath in, rise tall. And exhale, send your hips back as you fold forward, bending into the knees any amount here. And very, very slowly as you're ready, rise all the way back up, uncross the legs. Let's find one last chair pose. This chair pose is going to take us all the way down to the ground. So as you're ready, bending into the knees, sinking the hips back, reaching the hands forward. Let's lower down, 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 down to seated. Walking the feet a little further away. And then very slowly starting to come all the way down onto the back. Walking the heels nice and close. Now let's bend into the right knee, flex at the right ankle, and take the right ankle just above the left knee. Right knee moving off towards the side. Now start to pull that left leg closer to the body, keeping a firm flex into the right ankle. Maybe even using the hands to pull the leg a little closer. So perhaps the fingertips just interlacing behind the thigh or over top of the left shin. And as we pull the legs closer, we can use our right elbow to press that right knee away from the body. Firm flex into the right ankle. Breathing in and out through the nose. And maybe even rocking side to side, again, looking for that bittersweet sensation. Now we have an option. We can stay here exactly as we are, or we can find this reclined flying pigeon in which we will take the right foot towards the left elbow crease and the right knee towards the right elbow crease, extending that left leg and maybe even lowering it all the way to the mat.
Noticing the sensation. If this variation is right for you, you might rock side to side, or you might return that left knee towards the right ankle. Big breath in. And if you have extended that left leg, pull it back. And now we're just going to cross the legs. So the right crosses over top of the left. Take your hands and find the left knee or shin and just pull the legs closed here. Now you can find a variation of reclined Gomukhasana, or this shoelace type pose, in which we would bring the hands towards the opposite shins. And the idea is that we're pulling the thighs close to the body, but taking the ankles in line with the knees. So we don't have the heels close to the hip line. We have them at a 90 degree from the bend in the knee. And then breathe in and out through the nose. Big breath in. And exhale to unwind. I don't know about you, but it feels like my glutes are going to break. They needed this so badly. And we'll start to land the right foot down, flex the left ankle, and cross that left ankle just above the right knee. Again, pulling right knee nice and close to the body, and maybe taking fingers, interlacing them behind the right thigh or over top of the right shin, with the left elbow pressing left knee away. Again, we might rock side to side here, just looking for that bittersweet sensation and holding for a few breaths there. Notice how the rest of the body tenses up when we find tension. And see if we can soften and release. Maybe relax your jaw, lick your lips and swallow, soften the creases in your forehead and deepen your breath. If you want to try that flying reclined pigeon on the other side, then again, we'll pull the shin close. We'll take the sole of the left foot to the right forearm or elbow crease, and the left knee towards the left elbow crease. And then again, maybe extending that right leg. We can hover the right leg or even bring it all the way down to the mat. So we hold that left leg close and maybe rock side to side. Notice exactly what it is that you're feeling and where and how it differs from one side to the body, just to be aware of where we may have an imbalance. When you are ready, if you are in that flying pigeon, bring your right knee back towards your left ankle. And then again, from here, just cross the legs. So left over right, hands to right knee, pull the legs inward. So you can stay here, which is a lot of sensation on its own. If you're looking for a little bit more, and we have the range of motion, the comfort in the knees, then maybe hands come to the shins, ankles, or outer edges of flexed feet as we bring the heels in line with knees for this shoelace pose. Last few breaths. And very, very slowly releasing the legs. And if there is any final movement that the body needs, please take it now. Otherwise, starting to extend the legs and finding your final resting pose, your Shavasana, allowing the legs and the hips and the glutes to be heavy and relaxed. Taking a nice deep breath in through your nose, sighing out through the mouth, and resting in stillness.
Now very slowly, starting to bring your awareness back to your breath, deepening the inhales and lengthening the exhales. Inviting some small movements into wrists and ankles, fingers and toes. Now the hips deserve so much love and attention, so feeling free to use this time to just invite any additional movements into the body that might be satisfactory for the hips. I'm going to close our practice together. Let's just meet with one hand on the heart, the other hand over top. Closing with the offering of 3 shantis, which is a Sanskrit word for peace that we use as an offering to ourselves, to those in our lives, and to the world at large. Take a breath in through the nose to clear the lungs, and out through the mouth. Breathing in and repeating either silently in your mind's eye or aloud with me. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you so much for taking the time to practice with us this evening. Power Flow happens again on Wednesday, so feel free to join then and have a wonderful rest of the